People often ask me a really good question. Who succeeds and who fails and why? The insurance industry and financial services generally on the commission side has a very bad failure rate. It's about 90%. Now, that's partly because I think a lot of the organizations will hire anyone who could fog a mirror, whereas our success rate is significantly higher, but that's because we cheat. We're very honest with people and we select only people who have some of these things already in place and then put a lot of resources into them. That said, I've mentored and trained hundreds and hundreds of people myself and been the recipient of mentors who've done likewise over many decades. So these are my reasons for why a person would succeed or fail in this business. The first is, are you financially ready? So this is 100% commission. It's the deep end of the pool. It has very high upside. The financial opportunity and the financial stability and wealth you can grow is incredible. But the flip side to that is you take a risk in the beginning financially. So are you ready with 3 to 4 months worth of income in savings? You should be. Now, will you probably use all that? Probably not. It'd be very unlikely, but it's prudent to have that resource. Now, some folks don't have to have that savings. They have a spouse that is taking care of the bills for them, and that's a beautiful thing. Whatever it is, make sure you have enough to take care of your bills so that 2 weeks in, you're not wondering how you're going to pay your mortgage. Second, are you supported? If you have a spouse at home, if you're relying in part either emotionally or physically on family, do they support you? I will tell you, if you have a spouse or close family members that very clearly do not support you, they don't understand commission, they don't understand entrepreneurs, they don't understand insurance or sales, and they're openly against what you're doing, then that's a really big hurdle to get over. And your first sale has to be them. They have to be in your corner, and they have to be able to be in your corner when you're having a hard day, because you're going to be learning, doing, and trying to do a lot early on in your career. And you're going to have great days and you're going to have tough days, and they have to be in your corner, picking you up, encouraging you that entire time. Grit and focus. You're an entrepreneur. I don't know many entrepreneurs who just had a quick, easy path. If you think you know one, you're probably wrong. They probably went through some dark spots. They probably had to pick themselves up after falling, dust themselves off, and iterate and do something that sucked over and over and over again. You're going to have to do some of that. You're going to have to call people. Some of these people have turned in a piece of mail where they say, hey, yeah, I'd love someone to get in touch with me. Where they filled something out online, hey, yeah, I'd love someone to get in touch with me. And they'll have answered 10, 12, 13 different questions. They'll have had their email or their text verified. And once you get on the phone with them, they'll still say, oh, no, I don't want to do that. I was never interested in the first place, right? You're going to have to make your way through some of those. You're going to have people that stand you up. You're going to have bad days and great days. You have the clients who think you are heaven sent. You can walk on water, you can do no wrong, and they absolutely fall in love with you. And then you're going to have people that turn you away at the door. So that's real sales life. And you've got to have the grit and the focus to keep doing that thing. Setting appointments, going on appointments, setting appointments, going on appointments. And early in your career, you're also adding training and more training, more training. And you're trying to do that on top of what really makes you money, which is setting appointments and and going on appointments and closing sales and getting good at it. So you need to grit and focus. You need to take responsibility for getting good. You're going to have mentors, trainers, field managers. You're going to have people who have a genuine interest in your success, and they come ready for bear. They're going to give you the tools, they're going to give you their time, and they're going to give you their expertise. But I've noticed that agents who are like a little bird with their mouth open and they're waiting to be fed every morsel of information, success, what to do with their time, if they're waiting around, they tend not to be the successful agents. But if you combine all that training, support, mentorship, and tools at your disposal, but you are the kind of person that takes those things by the horns and you make it yours. They become yours, and you're going to master those tools. You're not going to sit at your desk and be quiet because you don't want to bother the boss. Instead, you're going to come up to your mentor, your field manager, you're going to say, look, what's next? I'm ready. Or I had this problem, or this isn't working for me. What's going on? How do I fix it? You've got to be the squeaky wheel. Take responsibility for the direction of your career early on and into the future. Those folks tend to do very well. That includes taking responsibility for the study time. So there's lots of time where you're not being watched. This is not a micromanaging career. You're going to have lots of time where it's up to you what you do with your time. So you've got to be the kind of person that decides that with that time, you're going to make it worth it. You're going to grab the study material, the consumer brochures, the applications, and you're going to learn something. You're going to underline, dog ear, highlight. You're going to take it back to someone who's further along than you, and you're going to say, hey, did you notice this? Hey, I learned this. Tell me about this. But you said before that, and you're going to do that every single week, and you're going to push your knowledge further and further. And then you're going to throw up on clients because you just learned something new last night. And that's what we all have to do. We have to learn something new, and we bring it up in sales appointments, and we're awkward the first 2, 3, 4 times, but we start to get it down. That's exactly how it happened with me. I had annuities that I couldn't figure out how to sell my first few months. I'd never been in sales, and I was overdoing it. I was doing all sorts of things wrong, and then some things started to click. And then month 4, boom, I sold my first annuities, and I had about a half a dozen clients before the stock market crashed in 2008, and I had been there, and my clients thought I was heaven sent, and they didn't. I think some of them probably figured it out, but I was still pretty green. Okay. That's because I took responsibility for learning that information and trying it over and over and over again. So you need to be comfortable soliciting people. I have seen people who maybe once every couple of years someone will get started and they find out, they get on the phone, they start calling leads, and it's the worst time of their life. It has nothing to do with the response on the end of the phone. They just get so much anxiety. If you get anxiety with the idea of soliciting other people to work with you, to buy something, this is the last business you want to be in. Okay. We do this ethically. We're not twisting anyone's arms. We're not sly. We're not tricking people. We're very open, honest, caring, and we do the very best thing for every person. But some folks, despite that, get too much anxiety by the idea of trying to help people make a buying decision. And there's lots of other wonderful careers that they should be doing. The master of the world around them. You've got to, my father used to say, so construct the world around you. That's a favorite phrase of his. If your family and friends are telling you what to do with your time, and you are simply a recipient of that, and you're simply doing whatever they ask of you at any given time, then you're not a master of your time. Other people are. And this career will slaughter you for that. You've got to make sure everybody knows you've started a business, you're an entrepreneur, and there's going to be a lot of time involved. And you've got to be able to say no. I promise you, go on the internet and look up all sorts of entrepreneurial videos, and you will find a bunch of them saying the same thing. You've got to learn to say no so that you can say yes to the big rocks, the things that push along your career and help you get through the hard parts, the learning, the iteration sooner rather than later, because you don't have all day. You don't have a year to figure out the basics. You have weeks or months to do it. And you cannot let people say, well, could you help me with X in the middle of the day? Hey, could you take off work early? Hey, could you go do this? You won't get into work till 10 o'clock or whatever. Hey, you have no appointments today, or you only have very little. Could you? No. People need to learn that you work. Do you master the world? Do you create a world around you? That could be choice of food. I spent a lot of time eating out of fast food and gas stations early in my career. And that's a point of pride. There's no problem with that. There are seasons for everything. I now run Ironmans. I'm in good shape. I wasn't in the best shape then, but you know what? There are seasons for everything. I chose what I did with my time, and I emphasized the things that were important at the time. And I overdid one thing then so that me and my friends here can overdo other things now. Travel, children, spouses, luxuries that we couldn't have if we didn't overdo it in other ways earlier on in our lives. Distractions. Can you say no and keep things that are of low value? That could be gaming. That could be honeydews. That could be building out a basement. That could be travel. It could be family. There are seasons for everything. And they need to know the expectations you have of yourself, of your business, of them. Do you have a dog at home? A big dog and no backyard, and you've got to get home in the middle of the day every day to let that big dog out, or it's going to crap all over the place, okay? I'm sorry, but you're not the master of your time, your dog is. And that may be a great relationship, and that's just a wonderful animal, but this may not be the right career for you in this season if that dog is in charge of your time. So that is the difference between those who succeed and those who fail. It's not fun to think about, and it's not rainbows and glitter, but it's real. And if you can be that person, your opportunity for control over your life financially and time-wise will exceed what most people will ever be able to capture. God bless.